So, back to Upanishadic period. So, you would sit beside your teacher, your favorite guru, teacher, and you would listen to him. And then when you become his favorite student, what happens? He would either split his group and ask you to lead or he would you would at times teach the group in his absence. In the event that the teacher is gone, and you would become the guru himself, the guru yourself. So it was during the Upanishadic period that again, everything is cyclical. It's like a cycle. And then again, that would pave the way for again some kind of evangelical characteristic within Upanishadic period as well. Why? When as everyone tried to convert everyone else, there was this competition among different teachers. When Buddha saw that, when Buddha defined his teaching, Dharma, he called Ehi Pasiko, come and see. Why did Buddha say that? Because he saw everyone else trying to force their beliefs upon everyone else. So instead of saying come and believe, trying to convert, and Buddha said just come and see. If you feel like you can accept and still use your freedom to choose. That's why later on when you study Pali and Buddhism, you will see one of the characteristics of Dharma is Ehi Pasiko, come and see. Buddha wanted to tell the society that he never wanted to convert. So conversion, the idea of conversion occurred in Hinduism for the first time during the Upanishadic period. Before that it was more like Puritan, Puritan, right? So it was, no matter how hard you try to convert to Hinduism, you cannot do that because you are an untouchable. You have to be a Brahmin or a king, royal or a merchant. Like in certain religions in the world also. Because some religions are non-proselytizing, don't convert. Some religions convert. So, and for example in Judaism, you can practice Judaism, but you never become a Jew. Because unless you were born into Judaism, unless you were born Jewish, you are not really Jewish. Because in Judaism, ethnic origin is identified with religious identity is ethnic identity. Whereas in Islam, regardless of ethnic origin, when you convert to Islam, you become a Muslim. Other way around, totally opposite. So, but in the religions, in Christianity and Buddhism, Hinduism, so that especially Buddhism and Christianity, regardless of ethnicity, you can be a Buddhist or Christian or Catholic. There are other religions as well. So, during the Upanishadic period, even though Upanishadic period marked the intellectual maturity and then the absolute liberalism of Hinduism, it also paved the way for the emergence of different schools of thought within Hinduism. And then Hindus usually argue that Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism. Culturally, yes. Doctrinally, no. We will discuss that next semester during the philosophy of Buddhism class. Yes and no, both. Culturally, Buddhism is an offshoot of Hinduism, but doctrinally, no. So the next thing is, now from among of these different schools of thought in the 6th century BCE, Buddha wanted to indicate, to show that his teaching wouldn't fall into any of the categories of religion available. Now there are 3 main types of religion. They are fatalism, the belief in fate, fatalism. Second one, determinism. Third one, non-actionism. It's not an English term. When you type that, the computer would say it's wrong. There's no such term in use. But it's a technical term. So, once again, fatalism, determinism, and non-actionism. In English, you call it Buddhism. Actually, Buddha never taught an ism. Ism, it means a dogma, a hard belief that you are not supposed to go against. So I always say Christians are happy because they are Christianity. Right? There's no ism there. But Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism. But anyway, it's okay to call them isms. Now, Buddha never taught an ism, but it has become an ism nowadays. For example, based on my cultural background, I think that the type of Buddhism that I do believe in the correct version. When I say my Buddhism is correct, to that effect, I believe in an ism. Because that is my ism, that's my belief. That is because of my bias. Now, fatalism. Fatalism is belief in fate, that according to fatalism, it is a vertical force. It comes from the Creator. So, because it's fixed, it is definite, you cannot alter it, it is irresistible, it cannot be changed, it is unalterable, so that it is fixed. That is why people say, it is my fate. According to English dictionary also, fate, destiny, kismet, these are the words for that belief, that corresponds to that belief. But according to English dictionary, when it comes to karma, right, especially Oxford dictionary says, karma, Hindu, within brackets, fate. Karma, Buddhist, no fate. So you distinguish between the 2 terms according to the Oxford dictionary. So again, as I explained earlier, it is the same term, but in use as technical terms to convey, to mean something different. Now, according to fatalism, some religions fell within the category of fatalism, fatalistic religions in India. That means that it is called fate, you can't change it. And in Buddhism, Buddha said, my teaching is not fatalism. Then what? Instead of fate, Buddha talked about karma. Who create karma? Ourselves. Meaning, you can avoid creating karma. You can never create karma. Why create? If you want, you can create. So, you are the master of karma. But when the karma returns, there's an American phrase, karma returns. Nowhere else have I heard that phrase, not in England, nowhere else, not in another English speaking, but in America, I said karma returns. I can say a little story because I work with children. Once I went visited this American family in Tampa Bay. So that the elder brother, he hit when they were playing. He hit his younger sister. Couple of minutes later, so the boy hit his toes against the table, and he injured his toes, and then he fell down, and he was crying. And the little girl turned to me and said, "Hey, his karma returned. Karma just returned." So his karma returned at no time. So that you create a karma. So the brother created karma. So in a couple of minutes, it returned to him. And then I missed those two kids, and they would ask me very difficult questions. They would put me in an awkward situation at times, because you know what, you have to be very careful when you mess with children, right? You are not supposed to mess with children. So karma, you create karma, and then meaning you can also avoid creating karma, because you create the karma so that you are the master of karma, so that when you create the wrong karma, meaning the bad karma, when it returns to you, what happens? You are not the master anymore, you are the victim. So you, in your karmic action, you victimize yourself. So there's no involvement of fate. So karma in Hinduism very different than karma in Buddhism then. Because there's no belief in fate in Buddhism. So Buddhism is not fatalistic. And Buddha avoided that. You are the master. Be responsible for your action. Karma literally means action. But in the teaching of karma, it is not the action, but the result that it produces. So wherever you go, you carry the karma within. That's one in the Dhammapada Buddha says, even if you hide yourself deep in the mountain, or deep in the ocean, or among the clouds, you choose the safest place in the universe or the safest place in the ocean, still karma will find you. Why is that? Because you take it wherever you go. It's not in outer space, it's within. So the fate is a cosmic, it's outer vertical force. It controls you. So Buddha rejected his teaching being fatalistic. So that is the first type of religious belief in the 6th century BCE. First type, karma. Second type, determinism. Determinism is slightly different than fatalism. In determinism, you really don't talk about karma. Everything is set by itself. You don't have to worry about your salvation, purification. Purification will come to you automatically. You will attain your salvation one day. You don't have to worry about that. Determinism means everything is predetermined. And it doesn't say who does that. There's no authority. It's by the nature. That is determinism. And then, so on the surface level, fatalism and determinism look like the same. They look similar. But in determinism, there's no belief, there's no cosmic force like God involved. It's by the natural, by the nature. Everything is fixated, everything is determined by the nature. That's determinism. So you don't have to worry about doing good things. Everything is fixated anywhere. So that is one example. Is that you climb, you get on the mountain top, and you have a thread, strings, ball of thread, and then you hold one net and you just drop it. So it will go down and unfold itself, and then so that what happens finally, so that it has to touch the ground properly. Given the length, it has to reach its end somehow, sooner or later. Likewise, your salvation is automatic. You don't even have to think about it. It would happen by itself. That is determinism. And the third type was non-actionism. Now, non-actionism is you have a weapon, like a sword, or maybe nowadays like machine gun, right? You will travel from north, south to north, north to south, east to west, west to east, on all cardinal and ordinal directions, and you kill whosoever comes your way. Right? And you finally, having massacred millions of people, you wouldn't have committed any crime. Why? There was no murder that you committed. What happens, you simply sent a sharp knife or a sword or a bullet through the flesh. That's it. That is the teaching. That's called non-actionism. Non-actionism means the belief. Non-action means producing no karma, no repercussions, no bad outcome. So recently when I had a dialogue with the college students, they say that okay, that is the Buddha's time, that is the ISIS in the 6th century BCE, they said. ISIS, the terrorist group, right? They kill anyone. They even kill their own people. So not in non-actionism, you don't commit murder, you don't kill anyone. You simply send a sharp object like a sword or a knife or a bullet. You just let it pierce through the flesh of someone. And it is simply a sharp knife that is piercing through the flesh. And then there's no individual getting killed because he has no value, no ethical value. That is called non-actionism. Makkali Gosala, and then you don't have to learn about him right now, because I will email you a scholarly article on the 6 Shramana teachers. They are known as 6 heretic teachers. They were very rebellious. And then and then you will see that some of them were, some of their religions belong to was fatalistic, some deterministic, some of non-nationalism. So the Makkali Gosala, that was his teaching. He had one of the biggest followings. His teaching was very popular. He had a big following. Why? Because you don't have people don't as a follower of that belief. You don't have to worry about good and bad. You don't have to worry about killing people. Having killed thousands, and you are still a good person. You have committed no crime, no karma. That is non-nationalism. And of these two, Buddha saw two extremes. Fatalism was one extreme. Everything is controlled by fate. The other extreme was non-nationalism. There was no responsibility, self-responsibility at all. In determinism, in fatalism, you rely on God. In non-nationalism, you don't rely on anything. Zero moral responsibility. So these were the three types of religions in the 6th century BCE. Fatalism, determinism, and non-actionism. So I will email some definitions. So why I am explaining this is that this is the spiritual, social, contemporary religious background surrounding Buddhism. That's surrounding Buddhism. So, and then there was another religious teacher. His teaching predates Buddhism. As I said, that's Mahavira, founder of Jainism. According to, but if you read overall, if you see the two universal extremes of religion in India, Mahavira taught an absolute, a teaching of absolute non-violence. Whereas Makkali Gosala taught absolute criminal religion. Because you could massacre everyone in the world, still you are a pure person, non-nationalism. Whereas in Jainism or Jainism, Jains, they believe if you are not supposed to do any harm even to an inanimate object like a plant or a tree. Buddha appreciated Mahavira's teaching, but Buddha said it's not practical. Extreme non-violence is problematic. So Buddha liked that. So Buddha appreciated Mahavira's teaching, but at the same time said it was too much of a spirituality because of extreme non-violence. You might have anyone of you been to India? If you go to India, you would say Jain priests. Right? Jain priests, there are two schools. One school is called Fully Naked. Another school is they simply wear they just cover their private parts with a small white cloth. They call white clad. White clad means they wear a small piece of cloth. The fully naked group, you know how they call themselves? We are sky clad. Sky clad means they are clad in space. Even though you see them as naked, actually they are naked. That's why they don't feel shameful. They call themselves sky clad. So you are clad in a different attire, clad in Buddhist robe. Maybe they are clad in white clad Jains. They simply cover their private parts. The other group, and they say they are fully dressed. They are fully dressed with the sky, space. It's a different story. To you, their body is transparent. That's why you see them as naked, but actually they are not as they perceive. They are sky clad, meaning they are covering their body with the sky, not the clouds, right? Sky means in terms of space is transparent. So that if you ask them, are you not shamed? No, we are not. Why? Because you are fully naked. No, we are not naked, we are fully dressed up. How? But I see your nudity, but that's your own perception. We are fully dressed up. So what is your dress? The sky. So, and when they walk, they have a piece of wood and what is called sweeper, whatever. Broom. So it's not really a broom, yeah. It's a rural, yeah. So they carry a broom and a piece of wood. When they want to stand up, they would just leave it on the floor and stand on that piece of wood to make sure that they don't kill any insects by stepping on insects accidentally. And when some of them, they cover their mouth. Why? Just to filter the air. Otherwise, they would accidentally kill insects by breathing them in. And Buddha called them extreme non-violence. Buddha said, I appreciate Mahavira and his teaching, but it's too much. I mean, it's not practical. So if you see the two extremes, Jainism and non-actionism. Jain Mahavira also have lots of following. He had lots of followers. Like Makkali Gosala, who taught non-nationalism. See how the religion was in the 6th century BCE. But if you did that during the Vedic period, okay, you would encounter lots of trouble. And the society wasn't that complex. It's always the inquiring mind of the people that opens up avenues to investigation and examination, right? When the religion is kind of closed, with no space for followers, adherents to question, it remains like a monolithic, singular religion, more like evangelical type of. So those are the three types of religions. In the 6th century BC, and Buddha said once, I don't want my teaching to be the 63rd, meaning there were 62 already in place, 62 religious beliefs, and they were different faiths like religions. And then, so one day I think Buddha was asked many times, he was asked why he was very careful of his wordings. And Buddha said, because I had to be careful because so that it's like there are no more words to use. So he borrowed lots of words from the already existing religions and he redefined them before putting them in use. One example is Atman. Let's discuss that. Probably that would help us to start the discussion on Buddhism. Now, Atman, right? Atman, that's the Hindu term for individual, the soul of the individual. And in Pali, it is called Atta. A-T-T-A, Atta. Atta in Pali is Atman in Sanskrit, meaning the same. But Buddha added another word to Atta. He added the term Bhava, B-H-A-V-A. Atta Bhava. Bhava means being, becoming, streaming, changing, flowing, streaming like a river. Because when you speak in Sanskrit, you call Atma Bhava, like in Sri Lanka. When we speak in Sinhala, we call it Atma Bhava, not Atma. Atman or Atta means the soul, which is a fixed entity. And Buddha added Bhava just to denote that soul is not a fixed entity. It's not a permanent entity. it is a conditionally changing entity. Bhava means to become all the time. All the time it becomes something. This moment it is something, the next moment it is something else. So directly translated, it is streaming soul. Streaming, meaning it's going through change all the time. So that he could show his followers the difference between Atma or Atta and Atma Bhava or Atta Bhava. Bhava again, like in the word be in English, to be, it comes from Sanskrit actually. The root is bhu, B-H-U, bhu, to become, to be, bhava, bhava. So our samsara in Buddhism, not the samsara in Hinduism, right? Samsara in Hinduism is vertically connected to Brahman, whereas in Buddhism, so it is the continuation that we come back in different life forms based on our own karma, based on our own attachment. Our karma would determine our comeback, what type of life we would get back, in the afterlife. So bhava is to be, meaning our soul. One day one Brahmin asked, is it okay to call your belief, according to your belief, can you use the word soul, Atman? And Buddha said, I don't call it Atman, I call it Atma Bhava, because it is conditionally changing. According to teaching of cause and effect, it changes. So, and then, so your karma can alter the way it comes back. So that karma can help to program your comeback. You have the authority to design your comeback upon death. So that is free from the involvement of fate, and you can change it because it's not fixated anywhere. It is not a permanent entity. It changes all the time. So Atma Bhava, and then you modify. Any questions so far? Yes.
Is there a way to look at that, the Buddhist karma and the samsara in a connected way? Like there's a creator God and there is your own path. And is there any sort of
a source?
Yeah, mixture of the two, or is it one or the other?
I mean, you need some academic source or something?
Yeah, or just in the belief of it.
Oh, okay, right, okay. The best source is the British Encyclopedia. I will try to locate it. Actually, for the first time, I noticed the clearest explanation I got from the British Encyclopedia Britannica. I will find an email anyway.
Okay.
See, I like that when you individual students when ask me something, then I can make a list of what I should email you. I should send you the difference, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's the karma, Atma, and then Nirvana. So the Buddha defined samsara again. So the Atma, because Atta Bhava or soul is self. So the modification or the alteration is up to us, ourselves. So we can change our Atta Bhava. We can change the direction it would go upon death. So that it has no vertical connection to any cosmic force. So you are morally responsible for your own existence. So you are not responsible. You don't have to be responsible for God. Why? Because there's no involvement. But you have to be responsible for your own sake. When you put yourself in trouble, and then you will have to face the repercussions therefore when you come back. So that is when it says karma. You create the karma. You must karma. If there's a creator, it is your own karma. So to create the karma, create your creator in a way that you get created back by that create the way you want to get created. So that's the explanation. That is a layman's description of Artha-bhava. When it comes to samsara, so Buddha doesn't use the word transmigration. When you say transmigration, it is the same thing that migrates. So how Buddha explains soul or Artha-bhava is, it is not the same person, nor is it a different person. It's like a domino effect. You arrange the cards and you flip on that, it keeps, and then individual cards keep falling upon the other one, and finally when it comes to last card, all the cards would have fallen upon one another. It's called domino effect. I used to do that. And actually one of my uncles used to do that. He's a school principal. He told me, son, that is how karma is. Now the cards are not individual cards, and individual cards are not the force. But because one card, the first card fell upon the second one, and the second one fell upon the third one, and so forth, right? Finally, all the cards are down. Finally, there are 300, 400 cards, and there's a continual force that first card transports some force onto the second one. So as a result, all the cards keep falling. So you don't take the same character to your next life from this life. It's not the same person who comes back. But the person who comes back is not a totally different person. Why? Because your comeback is based on something that you had acquired during your previous life. So it is not the same person, nor is a different person. So it is not the same person identically, but it's not two different people. So now, according to Hinduism and most of the non-Buddhist faith religions of the Buddha's time, if there was one thing that is unchangeable, that is your individual soul, Atman. But in Buddhism, Artha-bhava was divided into three aspects: karmic energy, memories, and habits. Because with the new karma that you acquire, with the new habits you create, with the new memories you acquire, you change the character of your Artha-bhava. So that's when you were born in your childhood, your Artha-bhava is pure and very simple. When you reach adulthood, and then your Artha-bhava would have become more complex. At times it is complicated. So altered, and Atma-bhava altered with new karma, new habits, and new memories could have a different, could affect your existence in a different way, because it is not a permanent entity. It changes all the time. So the Atma-bhava is the nucleus of our selfhood. But the nucleus itself is not fixated. So that is where I use the difference between Buddhism and other religions that were contemporary with the Buddha in the 6th century BCE. Probably because this is a history class, whereas when you come to the next semester, we can have longer dialogues on that, because that is one of the Atma is one of the teachings that makes you more and more confused the more you explain. And believe, trust me, it happened to me. It happened to me in high school. And later on, I never wanted, when one of my teachers asked, do you have any more questions? No, please, I don't have any questions. Right. Because I wasn't satisfied with the explanation. Because it requires lots of discussion. Now, I have just given we stop at 4 o'clock, right? So, and then, so
I
that...
think we're gonna do a break at 3:30.
No,
No break?
we got back at 20 till, so an hour after.
So, and
So
then...
let's go to 4.
Yeah, after 4, and then I would stop at 4 so that you can have Q&A.
Gotcha.
Yeah, until 4:30. Right now, no questions? Pertaining to what I have explained? Yes.
Only the Atman in Pali.
Atta.
Spell?
A-T-T-A. T-A. Atta. A-T-N-T and one more A. Right. A-T-T-A. Atta. It is the same word like Atma. Yes.
So I might be opening up a Pandora's box here, so stop me if I'm diverging. So the Atma Bhava I begin with as a child changes throughout my life.
Yes.
But it continues to my next life.
Based on your attachment, you decide to come back.
Does it change during the transition? I don't know, the word transition might be the wrong word, but
Actually, there's another word. Atma Bhava continues to vibrate through karma, habits and memories. But upon close to death, you would go through what is called last thought moment. At the last thought moment, this is real philosophy. At the last thought moment, Buddhist psychology. At the last thought moment, just before by the time you breathe your last breath, you would have definitely lost your individuality. You don't have personhood. It is impersonal consciousness. Because as Buddha says, first we die from our personality, and we get all our energy concentrated in our heart. And by the time you breathe your life, for example, master and his dog, right? They go for a walk, and then they get hit by a truck. Both die on the spot at the same time. According to Buddha, there's no master dying, there's no dog dying. There are two impersonal consciousnesses that are going through the last thought moment. Because you get reduced, your personality reduced back to zero. Because personality, persona, individuality is something that we acquire after our birth. So that you don't have your selfhood. It's already gone by the time your last breath. So, and then it is impersonal consciousness is there. And there's no dog dying, there's no man dying. So from among one of the karmic seeds, one certain karmic seed would pop up to the surface level of your consciousness, and that would qualify your next comeback. Qualify. Meaning, let's say, with whatever the karma that you revisit on a regular basis, the more you revisit the bad karma or a good karma, it remains closer to the surface level of your consciousness. So there's a higher probability of that certain karma that remains close to the surface level that triggers your next birth. That is simple explanation, but it requires lots of discussion. So right now, that's all I could say. Impersonal. It's based on you, but still, if you have no desire to come back, you wouldn't get reborn. But as Buddha says, every being close to death, they are in panic or they go through fear, and most of the time they are despair when they were alive, when they were halfway through their life, somewhere in their life, they wanted to change their life. They wanted a different life. They were worried that they were born into a family that they wouldn't fit in, and they happened to do the job that they didn't wanted to do. Those feelings of despair would take you over close to death. As a result, subconsciously you want to come back. That's why you come back. Whereas if you are enlightened, you have zero hope of comeback, because you have already permanently removed that desire, attachment. So that's why you don't get reborn, don't come back. Otherwise, and Buddha explains very nice analogy. Now there was this man, he had a very comfortable life. He wanted to come back as a king, but he hadn't done anything good, but he had tortured his pets, killed lots of animals, killed lots of people, and then close to his death, he wanted to come back. Now he knew he was going to die, he would be dead very soon. And then, so that based on his karma, and he started having the scenarios of his killing of animals and all that. All of a sudden, and Buddha says, his mind was telling himself being a pig at this point, right? Lying in his own feces. And then he tried to get rid of the feeling, no, he couldn't. And finally, Buddha said, he died and came back as a pig.